Go for it.
All right, awesome. Well, as Francisco was saying, hey, thank you guys. This is number 4 of a 4-part series for webinars, or more of like a workshop that we've been doing. I do want to thank the SBDC, Texas, obviously, for putting this on the university. I do see some familiar faces from some of the other webinars that we've had. Appreciate you guys going through all this thing, going through all 4 series with us. So today we're going to be talking about ROI calculations and beyond, obviously ROI, talking about that, and then mistakes in the future of online marketing and staying ahead of your competitors. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So I do have to apologize for everybody that has this is their 4th one. You get to hear 4 different times on the things that I do as a consultant, as an entrepreneur. So I'll try to go through this somewhat fast for the individuals that have already seen this 4 times in a row. But once again, my name is Shane Barker. I'm a digital strategist, brand and influencer consultant. I've been in the influencer, or been in the industry of marketing for 25 years. Done websites, SEO, content marketing, influencer marketing. I specialize in influencer marketing, content marketing, SEO, and online PR because I've been doing it for about 25 years. I also worked with quite a few Fortune 500 companies, also influencers with digital products like ebooks if they sell online. And then also my previous career, I call it Shane 1.0. This is Shane 2.0, maybe 3.0, who knows? I worked with a lot of celebrities with doing online PR. My nighttime job is, so my daytime job is I have a consulting firm of about 36 individuals. They're all full-time employees for me. My nighttime job is I actually work at UCLA. I created a personal branding and how to be an influencer course. Didn't teach it this last quarter, but I would fly down to LA and teach that course for the students down there. Some of the places where I've been featured, like I said, because I've been doing this so long, New York Post, Forbes Mexico. I was actually the first keynote speaker for their influencer conference in Mexico City. The Atlantic, USA Today, Entrepreneur Vice, ABC News. There's others. Just want to let you know that there's other individuals that think that I have good thought leadership and they should include me in their articles or videos or in the news. So feel really blessed to have that. Also, I also write for Thought Leadership. I have a Thought Leadership post for Inc., Forbes, Huffington Post, Social Media Examiner, Salesforce, plus about 120 other websites. Once again, I have a 36-person team, so they help me writing all the publications and getting things going there as well. Digital accolades, and I talk about this because it's important when I see other webinars and I see people that talk about what you should be doing as a business, and then I go look at their business profile and they're not doing it. So I always want to make sure that I'm not the parent that says, what is it like, do what I say, not what I do, right? I want to be the parent that says, hey, do as I do, and this is what I do, and I want to show you what I do. So I actually have about 2,500 words that I'm #1 for, or at least page 1 for Google. So what that means is 2,500 words, very strategic keywords that people put into Google, I will show up on that first page. And you have to realize I go up against some of the biggest marketers in the world, and we always, at conferences, go back and forth about who's #1 for what. It's a little bit of an ego thing, but anyways, the website indexes very well. I get about 180,000 in traffic a month, and I have about 66,000 social media followers. I've been doing this actual writing on my blog for about 8 years now. So once again, it's gotten to a point where that's where I generate actually all of my inbound leads are actually from my website. So once again, helping you guys go from online to offline is something that's once again takes time, but it's something that's can be obviously can really, really benefit you in a time of COVID and in a time of looking for another revenue stream. So some of the things we'll talk about today, some of the things that you're actually going to learn is going to be understanding analytics in Google Console or Google Search Console. You have to realize that, in this current state of, if you have a website and your website is indexing and you're driving traffic, it's important to know where that traffic's coming from and exactly what kind of traffic is converting well for you. So once again, if you don't have a website, you can still obviously watch the webinar, but this is mainly for people that really have already driven some traffic and really want to bring some things in. Now, if you do have a website and you don't have these connected, we'll talk about that as well. We're going to talk about how to calculate ROI for your business. Strategies and tools to stay ahead of your competitors, which is always a good thing. Common mistakes of online marketing to avoid. The future of online marketing and pro tips and examples as well. So when we talk about understanding Google Analytics is 100% free. So it doesn't cost you anything. What you just need to do is you can actually put in whatever your website, you can put in Google Analytics and then plus, how to connect it to a WordPress website. And it'll show you how to do that or to the specific theme that you're using. The idea of this is that this is a web analytics tool. It's provided free by Google. The idea is you want to connect this and you want to find out where your traffic's coming from and what type of traffic. And that will kind of tell you potentially what kind of content you want to create. There's a lot of other things that play into that. but it's good to know the analytics behind the scenes. It provides detailed information about your web traffic, as I talked about, and you can see the traffic in real time. So you can say, hey, this article is actually doing really well in the United States, or it's doing really well in California. It also does age demographics. It does all kinds of different things that you can really drill down. That's helpful too if you ever want to do like PPC, like pay-per-click ads or anything like that. You can look at the demographics of the types of individuals that are coming to your site and actually purchasing things. It's possible to also see the traffic devices, so whether it's mobile or desktop, the location, once again, whether it's city, state, or country, and then also the time of day when they're coming in. So where you're getting most of your traffic is between whatever, let's say 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. That's when everybody comes. Or maybe it's at night because that's when people are doing research. So once again, great analytics, free to do, free to connect. Would highly recommend doing it. Another thing, it also shows the times the visitors are most active, right? So you can kind of see this. Talks about, you can see here, this is the users, new users, talks about sessions, bounce rate, which is something that we'll talk about. That's when somebody comes to your website and they just go to another page, and it lowers your bounce rate. If they come to a page and they don't like it and they leave, Google has to assume that whatever content you're creating there that people aren't liking, and so they give you a high bounce rate. It's something that Google looks at. Page sessions, average session duration. So this is, looks like this was down 0.64, but the idea of it is, how long is somebody on your website? Are they on there for 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? The longer they're on your website, the better Google likes it, because they assume you have great content. And anyways, you can kind of see this. This was a month thing that we did in March, and you can kind of see the different analytics that we've got in regards to people that are coming. You can see the comparison from January to the end of February, and then March, beginning of March to the end of March. And once you can just go take a look at it and see what you've got. And there's really, you can drill down into a number of different things to look at for demographics and other things like that. Also helps you see channels that's bringing the most traffic. So once again, you can go on the side, you see on the left-hand side, we have channels, tree maps, sources, referrals, Google ads. So in social, so you can click on that and see, where you're getting most of your traffic from Pinterest, from Instagram. And then you can also set up campaigns, where that means where you can set up a campaign in there, and then you can, track it back to how many sales you've gotten from that campaign. And the idea of, it was talked about like the number of visitors, the bounce rate, and everything like that. So the good part is it doesn't take a lot of work to be able to connect this. If you want to connect some of the other stuff like conversion-based stuff, you probably want to hire somebody, or if you're really good with tech stuff, you obviously can figure it out. There's tons of videos. There's a lot of resources out there that you can find that would once again make it so you can connect Google Analytics. So you can kind of look here. This is actually going to be, we're going to kind of talk, this is kind of a deeper view into Google Analytics. This right here actually is going to be where you can create specific campaigns and track actions. So you'll see this right here. You'll see that somebody comes in through the landing page, right? And you'll have whatever the URL that is there. Then where they go to, and then hey, after that, then they either go here, they go there. So you actually can see, we call this the customer journey. So they come in through this part of the website, they go here, then they clicked on this link, they clicked on this link, they went here, and then they actually purchased. And so you really want to take a look at that, because that's your customer journey. That's where they come in and where pages they're going to be going to. And let's say everybody goes to this one page and nobody buys, and you have 1,000 people go through there. Well, there's probably a problem there, right? So you can know that, hey, your customer journey, there's people get confused here. They don't know where to click. They don't know what to do next. And that's just really important for conversion-based stuff. And then you can add and monitor the impact of, once again, paid traffic. So you can say, hey, we want to drive some paid traffic. It's going to come to this landing page, and this is the sequence. We want to go to here, and we want to see how many people purchase. We're going to spend $1,000. We know that we made $1,500. Great, you keep the campaign going until the next month. And you can also track multi-channel funnels. So that's going to be where you're, once again, from different, whether it be ad campaigns, whether it can be through Pinterest, where you're driving them to a landing page. There's a number of different things you can do. But once again, I would, if you want to know, when you're, especially if you're doing ads and doing, or have SEO and you're getting good indexing, you want to make sure you understand where your traffic's coming from and which ones are bringing the people that are actually buying something. This is actually Google Search Console. So once again, Google Search Console is also free. You can kind of see from here, this is just some of the analytics from my Google console. What you want to do is you really want to make sure this is kind of like the hub of your website's SEO. So once again, analytics is going to be everything with people coming there. Google Console is going to tell you if there's any issues with your website. So what you can do is you want to take a look at when you actually connect it, it'll tell you if there's any issues. In fact, I'm going to go over that here in the next slide in regards to if there's any problems with your website or anything you can, any issues. But they also will do, there's also a discovery stats tool. So you can see the amount of clicks that I received. I received 143,000 clicks. And it was actually higher than what I received the month before that. Look at total impressions, 7.12 million, 2% conversion rate, which was higher. And then the average position of my website for, you have to remember, I told you that for 2,500 keywords, I'm #1, but I index for like 40,000 keywords. So my average position over all of those is 35. So I'm usually on page 3. But remember, there's not all those keywords I care about, right? The 25 that I'm going after are keywords that I really want to index. They're called high intent keywords. Keywords that somebody like digital marketing consultant, like that's something I absolutely want to be #1 for. If I'm #1 for another keyword that doesn't matter to me, I don't really care. So the average position to me is not something I always look at. I look at the average position of the keywords that I really care about. And then you can search results to see the number of clicks, impressions, and you can kind of see that here. Once again, free to set up, free to use, and then have somebody connected, or you can, once again, there's plenty of websites that'll show you how to connect it to your WordPress website, or if you're using Shopify can be added to it, or whatever your platform that you're using there. You can see if you've been hit by a manual penalty. So this is what I was kind of alluding to in the last slide. This is really important. If your website has great traffic and then it drops, and all of a sudden there was a Google update, and Google will actually tell you, hey, you have a penalty here. You have a manual penalty. You need to go check these pages, or you need to fix this. And it's really beneficial, because a lot of times we lose traffic and we go, God, I have no idea why we lost traffic or what happened there. And you can go into the Google console. It'll tell you, hey, there's a problem here. You need to fix it. Once you fix it, you can tell Google, hey, we fixed this, and then they'll go ahead and make it right. You can do a deep dive into SEO on some pages. You'll see these are my top linked pages. So these are pages that people have backlinked to, maybe mentioned me on another website and drove traffic to my site. And then you can also see internal links. This one right here, if you look, it says Shane Barker /speaking. It looks like I have about 7,700 different things that are connected to that through my website. Obviously, what I'm trying to tell people is, hey, Shane can come, he can speak at your event. Not doing too much speaking these days other than through Zoom, but that's okay. Over time, hopefully in the next year or two, we'll start doing more speaking events. And then you can also see search queries used by your audience. So once again, that's also helpful with certain things that they're looking for. Maybe if you want to write it, so if they're looking for, how to do local SEO, and let's say I have a post that's kind of about local SEO, but I look at that and go, wow, there's 1,000 searches for that. I want to write an article to drive in that traffic. So you can look at the different types of queries that are happening there. And you can also check the number of internal and external links, as I showed you here about the top links, in other words, the page that most people are backlinking to, and then also internally linked. So external means from outside websites that are pushing in. Internal means internally when I've linked into where you go to a page and you click on it, it goes to my services, and you click here and it goes to a video, but it stays inside the website. Possibly submit a request for removal. So once again, that's where if you have tons of people like because I've been doing this a long time and I index well for a lot of keywords, I do have competitors that like to spam me. And if you're watching this webinar, you're never going to get me. You're never going to take my website down because I check every month. But anyways, so yeah, the idea here is that if somebody adds spammy links to my website, I review that, and then you can actually ask Google to unconnect those websites to you. So, and that's where we do website audits, where you can actually go and make sure that you're not getting, like, as an example, we have a client that we're bringing on. They have 7,000 websites that's talked about them, but they have 1.5 million links. So what that tells me is somebody's spamming them, that there's something going on there. So anyways, you can look at that here in the back end of Google Console. You have the ability to submit your website's sitemap for indexing. So a sitemap is when you go and put something in Google, you put, Sacramento DUI attorney, let's say. What happens is Google it prides itself on finding 10 million searches in 0.3 seconds. And a sitemap, what that does is that when you have a sitemap on your website, it tells Google comes into your website, and a sitemap says, oh, if you're looking for this, go here. So it's pretty much like it's a roadmap on your site. And so if you don't have one of those, Google comes to your website and goes, shoot, I can't find this answer. I'm just going to go on to the next website. So a sitemap once again tells them, says, hey, if somebody's looking for a DUI attorney, then, hey, you want to talk to Shane Barker, the attorney, which obviously I'm not an attorney, but you get my point. Hey, you want to click on this. And so then they'll be there. So a sitemap is something that's very important to have on your website. So Google, once again, if you're looking to be #1 for a certain keyword and you talk about that keyword, then Google has a higher chance of indexing you on that top page. And you can also track the number of links that your website has internally and externally as well. So this might be some high level stuff. Once again, do connect it to your websites. just so you can at least get updates if there's any penalties. If you don't know how to fix it, obviously you can reach out to myself, other people, the SBDC. There's also other people online that can help you with setting that up or understanding how to better set it up so that it indexes well. So some of the other things, you can track websites and enhancements such as AMP. So AMP is an acronym for really what it is. It's Google's thing for mobile. So mobile is going to be obviously very important. You have your desktop and then you have mobile. A lot of people are looking on their phones. That's another thing. When you hook up Google Analytics, it'll say whether people are coming from an Apple, from an Android, and the different types of phones, which is kind of interesting. But mobile usability and once again, AMP is very important. So you want to make sure this is where it'll actually check it and say, hey, your website looks good through a mobile perspective, or no, it doesn't look good, because you obviously want to index well on a mobile perspective as well. If you're a local pizza place and you want, somebody's looking and says, what pizza place near me, you want to make sure you have a good user experience, and because if not, Google's not going to index you if you don't, once again, if your mobile isn't set up correctly. Get an overview of structured data implementation. So I'm not going to go heavy into that today because that's kind of some deeper SEO stuff. Show you some issues with core web vitals. So that's going to be first impact delays, largest contentful paint. I'm not going to all that today because it's kind of some deep dive stuff. But once again, the idea of this is to really connect it to your website, and then you can start learning over time. You can actually go do a Google search and say, hey, what is the first input delays and why is it important? And you'll have that information so you'll know whether it's something to monitor or not to monitor. And then find an overview of enhancements from the overview, or check individual ones through the sidebar. So you'll see on the sidebar, it has the search results, discovery, things that you need to find out, coverage, site maps, removals. So I'll have all that right there where you can go and review it and see what's going good or what's not going good. Next, we're going to talk about ROI calculations. And when we say ROI, we mean return on investment. It's an acronym. And so if you're looking at, this is an actual formula that you can use. There's plenty of formulas, but this one is a return on investment formula where, once again, if you're putting money into something, how do you know if it's actually making money? And so the way that we do it is net profit over the cost of the investment. So let's say your profit was $5,000, your cost was $4,000, and then you do it times 100. We'll tell you what your actually return on investment or ROI formula to see if you made any money from that campaign. And it's important to track everything. It's important that if you're putting money into something and sales are coming out, that's awesome. But you want to know, hey, is it coming from this campaign? Is it coming from another campaign? Is it coming from, with anything you want to track, right? You want to know what's working and what's not working. And so this is the equation. Hopefully you screenshot this. If not, we're also going to send this out later on after the presentation's over, so you can have access to it as well. Some other ways to look at calculations, and so I'm kind of going to do a deeper dive into ROI, is you also need to take a look at an individual ROI of each customer. And this is called the CLV, which is the customer lifetime value. So this is going to be important where if you have something, let's say somebody just comes and buys a dress. Great, they buy a dress, it's $100. You spent $30 to get them there, you made $70. Awesome, well, minus the cost of the dress, of course. What you really want to look at is customer lifetime value. So if you have a subscription-based site, anything like that, so let's say you have a software with a SaaS, it's called software as a service. And let's say I charge $30 a month, right? So, and it takes me, let's say it takes me $100 to get that client or get that customer, and they only pay $30 a month. But that's still okay if that person, if people don't fall off until at least a year. So let's give you an example. So it's called an attrition rate. So if out of 100 people that sign up with me, most of them go for 1 year. So what that means is that $30 a month is actually times 12, and it's worth $360. So that's the lifetime value of a customer. So if somebody comes back and buys a dress from you, and they come back in 3 months and buys another dress, and they buy more stuff, then you'll say, hey, my customer lifetime value, looks like over the lifetime, they're going to spend $2,000 with me. So I'm willing to spend $200 to attract that individual or attract that customer. So it's something to think about. That's why you'll see affiliate programs that they'll say, hey, we'll give you $100 to bring somebody in, and we only charge $10 a month. And you're like, how can they do that? Well, it's because they know that they're going to keep that customer for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and you're probably not going to cancel. So track the total revenue generated by the customer. Once again, you can set this all up. This is in Google Analytics. Once again, a little deeper dive into the analytics, but this is something that's important for you if you really want to know, once again, how much a customer is worth and what it's going to take to bring them in through the doors. Go to your audience lifetime value to find the CLV in Google Analytics, and you can kind of see some of the stuff that we've got here. I have a service-based website, so I don't have anything that people can actually buy through my website. So I don't have this set up, but it is something important to take a look at if you have paid ads that are happening, that you're sending people to your website. So this is going to be, let's talk about competitors. And this is kind of, I'm going to kind of give you guys some a synopsis of how you can take a look at your competitors and potentially, and beat your competitors if you follow what I've talked about here today in the webinar. So this is what you can do is you can use competitor analysis to figure out their strategies. So this right here, I believe this is SEMrush. The good thing about it, let me make sure. Yeah, this is SEMrush. So what this does is you'll actually see, this is actually their organic search traffic. So what I'm doing is, this isn't actually my website. I'm looking up a competitor's website. So what I do is I go into SEMrush, I put in their URL, and it tells me, hey, this is how much they're driving from paid traffic. This is how many backlinks they have. They have 3 display ads, and this is how much organic traffic they're driving. So that's good for me to know, because then I can actually click on and say, let me see what kind of paid ads they're putting up, and let me see if I want to do something similar. So you'll see here, this one talks about, this is actually a bridesmaids dresses. Obviously not a competitor to my website, but for other websites it is. And then you look at the keyword, the search volume. So you can see the position here, you can see the volume here, you can see the CPC, which is cost per click. So if you were to do paid ads, this is what it would cost for you to pay to get a click. And then the traffic right here is, this is how much traffic this actual website is getting from this specific keyword. So once again, really important to, this is what we do as a company, is we do the deep dives into finding out what your competitors are doing, how we can, where they're showing weaknesses, the good things that they're doing, and how we can be able to take you up to that next level. And then it also shows some organic competitors of other people that, once again, this is a COM keywords, which means you have common keywords. So these are keywords that they're going after and you're going after, and then it just has a competition mapping, positioning map. So once again, there's a lot of tools out there that you can use. SEMrush is one that we recommend. Ahrefs is another one where you can check backlinks. If you don't know what backlinks are, don't worry about it. But if you are looking to find out, for certain keywords, if there's a lot of backlinks going, your competitors a lot of backlinks, you can use Ahrefs. You can use traffic analysis and domain overview tools to get detailed information on the competitor's traffic. Once again, you'll see that here on anything you want to search, and you can use keywords and create backlinks on websites they have backlinks on. So it's a little bit of kind of a deeper SEO strategy, but once again, some good things can happen. Lots of tools where you can find out what your competitors are doing and then go and beat them. So staying ahead of your competition, you want to make sure you innovate continuously and market your products well, right? That's pretty basic understanding. Ensure you're reaching your target audience, extremely important. I would much rather I'd rather have 10,000 targeted people come to my website than 1 million people that aren't targeted. And make sure you highlight your unique selling proposition. What makes you different than your competition? And it's important what you have to figure out what you need to do to differentiate yourself from your competition. Strive to solve problems of your audience. And so we're going to talk about this a little later in the webinar about actually what kind of content that you want to produce. You want to make sure that you're producing, you understand that you have a product or service and somebody has a pain point. So you're a DUI attorney, obviously, you know what the pain point is that you got a DUI and now you're in trouble. So guess what? You want to make sure that you have some answers. You want to have maybe something that somebody's going to go Google search, like what happens if I got a DUI in Texas? Great. You want to make sure that you're the attorney that has the information on there. And so they can go read that and they go, wow, this person, this individual, this attorney I feel like he or she knows what they're talking about, and they're who I want to hire to be able to get myself out of this sticky situation. So that's, once again, you want to look at what your product or service solves and have content that created around that. Look for disgruntled customers of your competitors and help them. So people like to complain, right? And if they do, it's like on Twitter, it's on Facebook, you see somebody that says, oh, I hate my website hosting company, or I hate this, or I hate that. And if you're a website hosting company, you can jump in and say, hey, sorry that you had a bad experience with XYZ company. We'd be willing to help. We'll give you 20% off. We'll help bring your site over, whatever that is. So always take a look at things that are where people aren't doing good and they're not doing good customer service, and where you can jump in and then offer solid customer support to retain customers. Once again, especially these days during COVID, there's a lot of options for other people to go to other restaurants, other services. Really take care of your customer and your clients, send them cards, make sure they understand the appreciation and how much you love the fact that they've decided to spend money with you. Creating an online marketing plan for your business. We've talked about this, some of the other sessions that we've done. Creating a buyer persona. Once again, understanding who you think your perfect client is. and that can be analytics from your brick and mortar location, or looking at the history of people that have purchased and saying, I think my demographic, I think my perfect buyer persona is men between 24 and 28 or 36 or whatever that number is. You want to analyze the channels where your audience is most active. Obviously, that's with social channels. If you think you have a lifestyle, you have like a paddle board, new paddle board you came out with, well, that's probably going to be more Instagram because it's kind of lifestyle driven. Think about where your audience could be most active, and then figure out your online marketing channels or your goals, right? This is, we talked about, you always have to have goals set up of like, hey, I'm going to spend this. My goal is to get this. And then how are you going to know whether you achieve those goals or not? And then define your KPIs, KPIs being key performance indicators of things that you would say, hey, I want to get more views, or I want to get more sales, I want to get more reach, I want to get more brand mentions. And then you want to set those up and once again, figure that out if you actually achieve those goals with your campaign. Another thing you can do is evaluate your current marketing progress. Always reevaluate and see how things are going. You want to start something great. You don't have to evaluate it after 2 days of doing it. Probably give it, 3 months, 4 months, but if it really starts to tank, great, only give it a month. But the idea is just kind of give it a little bit of time. It takes a little while for your community to react to new content or to your marketing process, and just see if you need to tweak that. Building your presence on channels where it can easily engage with your audience. Obviously, once again, that makes sense. Measure the progress of your campaigns and optimize. Optimization means that, hey, you do a campaign, it did pretty good, but there's some things that you can change to make it do better. Once again, that can be on paid ads, that can be on any marketing initiatives you have. And then once again, good things are happening, you want to make sure you repeat. Also note, it's not recommended to run a long-term campaign it is recommended, to run a long-term campaign other than a one-off campaign. So once again, if it doesn't produce revenue right away, doesn't mean that you need to get rid of it. If you think there's still an opportunity, maybe you can tweak some stuff, do some things a little differently. If you're working with an influencer or something and you're doing a campaign and it just totally bombs, then great, you can move on from that influencer, unless you feel like maybe it was the content or something like that. So the best strategies for getting started and optimizing your plan, right? So now we talked about like having your plan for online, for your marketing plan. Now I'm going to show you what some different things you can do, some tools you can use, and also how you can optimize your plan. So when we talk about content marketing, we've talked about this a little bit, is this is producing either like a high quality blog post. There's actually videos, there can be infographics, there can be a lot of different things when we talk about content. It's just not written content as well. I mean, it can be written content, but it's not just written content. You can do videos, you can do images. If you're going to be producing anything, you want to make sure you're producing something that's quality. And if you're producing videos, they don't need to be high quality. You don't need to have an absolutely perfect setup. You can use your iPhone and it can be, a situation where you're walking and talking. That's not a problem in regards to video. But if you're writing a blog post, you don't want to write a blog post that's just 300 words that you just kind of threw up there and who cares. You really want to show that you put some time and effort into it. It does take more time, obviously, to put quality content out, but overall it'll be, once again, a better situation when you start to drive that traffic because people know that you put out quality stuff. And then distribute your content to prominent websites and social media. The goal is, great, you produce a piece of content. Let's say it's a blog post on your blog. Now you have that done, great. And now what you need to do is the distribution of it. You're going to share it through your social channels. You're going to share it wherever you think your audience might be. The idea is just you want to show everybody the great content you're writing, because at the end of the day, if you write great content but you don't share it with anybody and nobody knows about it, then you're kind of missing the boat on that. So some of the things you can also do is what we call gated content. So gated content, a good example of that is, hey, come to shanebarker.com and I have a PDF or I have an ebook that says, here goes 10 things you have to do for local SEO. And you're like, man, I really want that. And I'm like, click here to get it. And you go to click it, and the thing pops up and says, give me your email address and your name. And you're like, oh man, that's gated content. That's saying, hey, you need to give me something. You need to give me your name and your email address so I can spam you. Just kidding, I'm not gonna spam you. But so that you can get this ebook, right? So the goal of that is it's gated content for me to get somebody so I can, send them a newsletter so I can get them in the queue, get them on my newsletter, but that's called gated content. Optimize content on the landing page. So that's, you have a landing page where you're driving traffic from a pay-per-click campaign or something, and then the campaign went pretty well, but you need to change maybe the call to action, the color of a button. You need to change whatever the aesthetic of it. There's a lot of things that can be changed, but just know when you put campaigns together, just because it didn't make money right away, you have to optimize. You have to tweak it a little bit, because if not, we would just run one campaign, we'd all make millions of dollars, and then we wouldn't have to worry about it. The goal is to kind of make those changes and see if you can get it to a point where it's making some money for you. Some of the things that we can talk about is, some of the tools that I actually use is Grammarly. That actually is going to be for, for if you need to add a comma here, or you're not using a verb correctly. Even being an instructor at UCLA, I still use Grammarly, because every once in a while there's some things I mess up on. Actually, probably quite often there's things I mess up on, which is okay. Copyscape is a tool that you can use if you have a writer that writes for your website. I grab that content, I put it in Copyscape to make sure that they didn't copy that from somebody else's website. So what it does, it searches the whole internet to make sure that your content that this writer is writing for you is original content. And then CoSchedule is a place where you can actually schedule content to go out. So that's maybe through social media. So you do a video on YouTube, right? Now you can go and you can put that video, little clips of it on Instagram. You can put it on your blog, and you can schedule that to actually go out through CoSchedule. So content marketing, this is an example of content marketing I wanted to show you, because a lot of people go, well, I want to write a blog post, but I don't really know what type of content to write. So this is an example. This is called Beard Brand. You'll kind of see, so what they do is they have products for men's beards, right? So what they're thinking is like, okay, what kind of content would somebody look up that we could potentially sell our products to? So this is the 20 best beard styles for 2020. So if I wanted to grow a beard, and I'm like, well, I want to grow a beard, well, then this is like the best I can do. But let's say I did want to grow a beard, grow a big old beard, right? And so what happens is you go here, and then you can see the 20 different styles, and you say, oh, I like number 13. And guess what's going to happen at the bottom is says, hey, if you want to grow any of these beards and you want to grow it bigger and thicker, and so it's beautiful and it shines in the sun, great, then this is the product to buy, right? The other one is it's time to ditch the necktie for the bolo tie. So what they're saying is people that would wear bolo ties, or that would be a little stylish, probably would also have beards. They're making that connection for whatever reason. Maybe they did some research and found out that this slick individual here with the hat also likes bolo ties, but they also usually have a beard. The other one is what my soul patch taught me about life. I mean, who knew? So that's kind of funny. That's kind of comical. And that's probably an article. I'm like, let me read that. Like, what did it teach them about life? Now, mind you, it probably doesn't sell a product on every blog post, but at least it's entertaining. It's a blog that you would want to follow if you wanted to see these types of things and you wanted to grow a beard. The other thing we're going to talk about is SEO, is search engine optimization. Once again, that's where you put a keyword on Google, and then certain things will pop up. Hopefully your website will pop up for keywords that you need. Investing in SEO obviously takes it's a long-term commitment. It usually takes months, sometimes years, just depending on how competitive the keyword is that you're going after. You want to make sure that once again, you can invest in that. There's a lot of different ways to do that. Make sure the SEO company you're working with is kind of educating you along the way on what you're doing to once again, to be able to be number one or be able to go after certain keywords. This is easy to do, create a Google My Business page or a Bing place listing. So if you go put in your business name in Google, usually Google will have a thing that you can claim, and it'll say, hey, is this your business? You claim it, and you want to make sure there's an acronym we use called NAP, and it's name, address, phone number. You want to make sure those are correct, because if Google somehow pulled in the wrong phone number and you're on the first page there for your business and people are calling that phone number, guess what's happening? They're not getting to you. So you want to make sure that's correct. Add your website address, add reviews, add pictures of your products or service. Make sure you really build that out, because Google gives preferential treatments to their own listings, right? So you want to make sure you go and take a look at that. Google your business, also Google your personal name. You might be shocked at what you see. Hopefully it's not bad stuff, but definitely take a look at that. Spend some time from an SEO perspective and go look at what people are saying about your business or yourself or your personal name. Create a powerful website that loads quickly, and invest in the user experience. Really what it talks about. So if you don't have a website up, just get a website up, but the goal of this is that Google wants to give everybody a good, what we call user experience. And so if you have a website that has huge pictures and it takes forever to load, and you're going to look at the website and it's like taking forever, people don't have patience to wait for that. And Google actually will de-index you, will take you down, because they don't want somebody to the first option when they go click on the website and they're just staring at it, waiting for it to load. They want to give them a good experience, and that's called page load speed. And you can actually test your page load speed by putting in Google page load speed, and you'll have a website that pops up. You can grab your URL, put it in there, and it'll tell how slow your website is on mobile and desktop. You can optimize for international and e-commerce SEO. Total another conversation. If you want to get into international SEO, we can have that conversation probably outside of the workshop webinar we've got going. And then e-commerce SEO is just looking at specific keywords that certain individuals would look for in regards to your product. Use structured data to appear as rich results. Not something we have time to talk about today. That's kind of a deeper SEO thing. Another thing is useful tools is SEMrush. As I showed you that earlier, Ahrefs, Moz, Google Keyword Planner, and then Yoast SEO, all different tools for different things you're looking at in regards to SEO. If that excites you, go ahead and take a look at those. You can see each one of them have some overlap, but there's some great tools for SEO. So here goes, actually, this is actually my website. I'm kind of going to show you guys what we've got in regards to competitive research. So this, you can see, this was a few months ago. I think we had 150,000 people come to the website. I had 110,000 were unique. So those are new individuals. They actually visited 1.25. So they went from one page to another page. My duration was 1 minute and 37 seconds. My bounce rate was 82%. And my traffic rating is 195,000. So what that means is that's like, it's like kind of like an Alexa rating where it's like, how popular is your website? So you'll see I'm #1 for how to become an influencer. You can see there's one and there's a one next to it. So the one that you see that doesn't have the little brackets around it, that is this week, that's where I'm at. The one next to it is what I was last week. So last week I was #1, this week I'm #1. Last week I was #1, this week I'm #1. So if you were, number 10 and now you're #3, then that's great, right? You've made progress. If you were #3, now you're #10, you're going in the wrong direction. So once again, this is SEMrush. You can, once again, put this in, you can put your competitors, put yourself in here, and kind of get a better idea of exactly, what you've got going here. This is not as good as Google Analytics in the sense that Google Analytics is directly connected, but SEMrush is a great tool if you want to look at competitors and even your own stuff as well. It's, once again, not a bad thing. So this is where I'm talking about social media marketing. So when you're putting out content through social media, you want to make sure that you have informative content and that you post regularly. Now, I'm not saying you need to post twice a day, once a day. I am saying that you do need to post regularly. So if you're only posting once a month, you probably need to do it a little more than that. Once a week, it's not bad depending on your product and service, but you really want to have a frequency. So let's say it is once a week. That's all I have time for. Not a problem. You can go ahead and put that content out, but make sure you're doing it regularly. The minute you stop or you only do it when you can, that's once a month or once every 3 months, it's just people are kind of lose interest. Engage with your audience by responding to their comments. If somebody's taking the time to respond to your comments, make sure you're responding back. My analogy I always use is if somebody walks in your restaurant and they said, "Hey, how you doing?" and you just look at them, that's not good, right? The idea is you say, "Hey, I'm doing good today. How are you doing? Thanks for coming into our restaurant." It's the same thing online. If somebody asks a question, make sure you're responding to them. It's important. They're taking the time to ask you a question. You should take the time to respond. Use live videos and stories to give your audience a look into your brand. That's where you can use your phone. You can do Instagram stories and just say, "Hey guys, our restaurant just opened up. We're 100%, compliant with COVID. We're clean. Everything is good. You can order today. You do to-go orders. You can order on the website." Educate people on what you've got going on, especially during these times where people are like, "Are you open? Are you not open?" It's important to use those resources of social media as a tool for that. You can host contests and giveaways to build traction. So let's say you're working with a local car company. That's a big giveaway, but let's say it's even something smaller. You can do giveaways on your Instagram or on your wherever, on your blog, on your YouTube. And the idea is to give people some incentive to do something. Hey, share this with their audience. Hey, come on into the restaurant. Hey, use this coupon code, whatever that may be, but it is a good way to generate business. You can leverage polls to understand what your audience wants. So, we've done this with restaurants where it's like, "Hey guys, we're thinking about bringing back our shrimp quesadilla. Let us know if it's something you guys would want, vote yes or no." And then if you have 100 people vote yes, guess what? You have 100 people that are very interested in your shrimp quesadilla. If you have 100 people vote no and 2 people vote yes, then your quesadilla wasn't that good and you shouldn't bring it back. Use branded and campaign specific hashtags. So that's where you have certain hashtags that you can use for your campaign that's branded towards whatever your company name is. And then you have certain tools you can use, like Buffer is another scheduling tool. It's the one that I actually personally use, where you can go in and schedule stuff through Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever that is. Canva is a good program where you can go in and create banners or create flyers. Very easy to use, very user-friendly. And then Hootsuite is another one where you can go and look at what people are saying about you online, content-wise, and then you can also schedule content from there as well. So this is Pat. So what she does, this is an example of social media and what she's done on certain platforms. You can see here, she's a makeup artist. She has over 418,000 likes. Or that's how many, and she's 435,000 people that follow her. And you'll see when she creates content, she has a very engaging audience. So once again, if she just decided to put up one post and she didn't have anybody following her, it takes time to build that community. So it's not an overnight type thing. So Pat could have been creating content for the last year and it just took off in the last few months. So it takes a while to build that community. No different than when you opened up your brick and mortar location. People didn't just flood in the doors. You had to figure out how to get people in the doors. It's the same thing with social media. It's going to take time to grow those communities. Just be patient and good things will happen. So this is what we're going to talk about is email marketing. So email marketing is when you send out, when you're sending out a newsletter, you have something on your website that you're pulling people in. It says, hey, join our newsletter to get 20% off. Join our newsletter to find out about new products and service. The goal of that is, once again, now you have a list of people that like your products or service, and you have an opportunity. The thing what you want to do is you definitely want to take a look at upselling and downselling or cross-selling. The idea of this is, hey, somebody just bought some sheets. You have a company that sells sheets. Great, they bought the sheets, and what you do is say, hey, I noticed that you bought these sheets. Here goes the pillowcases that you missed out on. They're $100, but we're going to give you 20% off because you've already purchased. And they go, oh shoot, I forgot about the pillowcases. Great, I buy the pillowcases. I get 20% off. It's awesome. So that's upselling, right, and cross-selling. So it's something that's a product that's similar that could work hand in hand with the product they've already purchased. You can also promote your sales through email. It's important. You don't want to bombard people with every day of like, hey, we have a sale. Hey, we're doing this. Hey, we're doing this. Hey, like mix it up a little bit. You want to kind of you want to get a little creative with it, right? And so there's different types of content. It can be promotional. It can be educational. Like there's a lot of different, or transactional stuff. There's a lot of different ways to promote. You just don't want to tell, if I'm an attorney, that I'm an attorney and I can help you. I'm an attorney and I can help you. We get you're an attorney and we get that you can help us, but be a little more creative with the copy, with the content that you create. You can also segment your audience. I'm not going to go heavy into that today because that's segmenting means that, for myself, if somebody comes in through an SEO article, great, then they're probably going to want to know about SEO. If they come in through influencer marketing, I can send them an influencer marketing newsletter. If you just started your newsletter, just send out general newsletters. It can be quarterly, every 3 months. It can be once a month. It can be once a week, whatever that is. And then you can also leverage drip campaigns to drive conversions. So the goal of this is, hey, somebody downloads my free ebook that I was telling you about, the SEO ebook. And then what happens is I send them, hey, take a look at this article in regards to SEO. Take a look at this. And then I tell them, hey, I also have a course for SEO. It usually is $1,000. I'm only charging $495. Sign up for my SEO course. So you're giving them more information. That's a drip email. You're dripping more information to them over time. And some of the tools that I use, MailChimp, GetResponse, and also ActiveCampaign is another one that you can take a look at. So this one right here is actually, that's actually me. I know, shockingly, looks like my twin. 8 tips for naming your business, right? So this was something that we had sent out. I have about 19,000 newsletter subscribers. And this is all information, right? This is all beneficial stuff. So I'm not selling my services. I'm not talking about myself. I'm saying, hey, if you want to name your business, you're thinking about starting a new business, here goes 8 tips you'll need for naming your business. So my goal through my newsletter is to add value. Like I want people to join my newsletter so they can find out about SEO and influencer marketing. And if they really, really like the content I'm creating and really want to do a campaign and they still need some help, guess who they're going to contact? Hopefully me, right? Because hopefully I gave them some good information. Influencer marketing is an awesome tool. It's been around for a long time. We just dubbed it influencer marketing probably 7 or 8 years ago. This is where you can partner with local influencers. One of the things I recommend is, let's say you have an Instagram account, take a look at who's following you on your Instagram. Usually those are the individuals that really like your product or service. And those are the people, maybe they are influencers. And when I say influencer, they don't have to have 1 million followers. They can have 1,000 followers. But if you're a pizza joint and all of a sudden you have a guy that follows you that's a pizza review guy and he's there in Austin, Texas, why wouldn't you reach out to them and say, hey, I see that you're a fan. Why don't you come in and check out our pizza? We'll give you a free pizza and beer, whatever this is. Great, come on in, and and then talk about what that value trade is. What you would, for that pizza and beer, what would he be willing to do or she be willing to do for you? Is it write a review? Is it just promote that they're there? Like, talk about what would happen in the actual campaign. Actually, ask influencers to create various types of content. Once again, that's where you reach out to the influencer and say, hey, I'm willing to do this. What are you willing to do for the free pizza? What are you willing to do for $500? What are you willing to do for whatever you're willing to give them, free product? Provide custom codes to drive sales. So that's where, let's say somebody comes in, Jennifer comes into your pizza joint and says, hey, I'm willing to, come in, but I need a 20% off coupon for my audience, because I know that when I give them a coupon that they will come in guaranteed. Great. I give her Gen 20, tell her, hey, you guys, I'm over here at Shane's Pizzeria in Austin, Texas, having a good time, having a pizza and a beer. Use my code Gen 20 and you guys will get 20% off your next pizza purchase. And then you'll actually know how many people Jen drove to your actual pizza place. So influencers can do direct traffic to your website through links on their blog. So that's another thing where somebody can write a review about your pizzeria, and that can drive traffic to your actual website. You can list your products, and there's ways to actually sell things through Instagram. They have Instagram shops where you can sell products and services there. And then you can also partner on an affiliate basis. That would be where Jennifer says, hey, I'm a big pizza review person here in Austin. I'll come out. If you give me a free pizza, we'll use Jennifer 20. But for anybody that purchases, I want a 10% commission on every single one. So really, you as a business would be losing 30%, but that would be revenue that would be generated through an influencer that normally you wouldn't have received. So we say, okay, Jennifer, for every $20 pizza, I'll give you $2. And so Jennifer's thing is great. She gets a free pizza, she gets free beer, and now she's offering great value to her audience because they get 20% off, and she's making 10% on every purchase. Let's say it's a $20 pizza, so she's making $2, makes money, free pizza, free beer, audience loves her, life is good. Some of the different things you can look at, the tools you can use is Tracker, BuzzSumo, 4 stars, and then Hipsy is another one that we've used historically in the past. Each one of them have their own features and benefits and costs, so make sure you review that. Here goes an example. This is actually one for Tabasco. So she made, I think it was avocado toast in this one, and you'll kind of see what she talked about she's talking about she uses Tabasco on her avocado toast. And this is just mainly a promotion. This isn't where she's making, well, she might have gotten paid to do this, but there's no like coupon code or anything like that. She's just saying, hey, here I am. This is what I like. This is what I do. And Tabasco is something that I use on my avocado toast. Affiliate marketing is what we just kind of touched on, is you pay a high enough commission to motivate your affiliates. So once again, hey, if you go and you drive people to our pizza place, we're willing to give you 30%, which on a $20 pizza would be $6. And you're saying, hey, great. And so you guys work out some kind of a deal that I have a pizza review site in Austin, and I put the website up there. And if anybody clicks on there and goes over there and purchases a pizza, I myself make $6. And the goal of this is they drive the traffic, they promote your product and service, and what you're doing is paying a commission there for them to talk about your product or service. You pay them on the back end, and you can set that up through Shopify or whatever program or whatever platform you're using. You can set up an affiliate program. So you can partner with multiple affiliates. Once again, that's the goal of that, is you can partner with hundreds of affiliates. Amazon being probably one of the biggest affiliates. They just lowered their commissions, but still a big affiliate. The idea is I can build a website. Let's say I build a website about hardware, and I can put up a website. I put up all these pictures, and every time you click on a picture, it goes to Amazon, and Amazon pays me a commission. It used to be like 8%. It's like 3 or 4% now, but pays me a commission to drive you there. And then anything that you buy, I make that money. So what Amazon's saying is like, hey, Shane, you don't have to buy inventory. We'll drop ship for you, right? No brainer, but you build the website, you drive the traffic, and then they come over here and I'll give you a commission. So that's an affiliate-driven relationship. You can incentivize customers to promote your brand too. This is where I talked about Instagram, or anybody that likes you and you say, hey, this person is a customer, but they also could be an influencer. So, I work with Furlough's Ice Cream. We're working at a deal where it's like, hey, if you've liked the ice cream in the past and you've talked about it, we'll give you a free pint of ice cream. Well, the ice cream is $8, and let's say it only costs him $4. It's only $4 for that marketing, and somebody tries the ice cream and loves it and talks about it. So there's some good things that can happen there. You can promote additional discounts and freebies to your customers, right? So that's always a good way. Partner with influencers on an affiliate basis where they make a commission there. Create pages on websites to get affiliates. And some of the tools is like CJ affiliate, impact, and tap affiliate. So if you have an affiliate program on your website, you can go to these networks and you can put your affiliate up there, your program, and say, hey, these are the commissions we're willing to give to somebody that drives traffic, and then they'll promote it, and then you can potentially drive people to your website and they'll make a commission off of driving that traffic. So this is an example. Here you go. You'll see here it says Janny 20, which is 20% all of the Naked Fashion, which is a company. She's out of Barcelona. So the goal here is, hey, you use this coupon code, you get 20% off. And I'm sure the influencer who can be an affiliate is also making, either she's paid to put the ad up, or she's paid to put the ad up and makes a commission, or just makes a commission. Everything is negotiable, but you can kind of see that here. So paid advertising, this is pay-per-click. So this is PPC. Running ads for keywords relevant to your business. This can be done on Google. This can be done on Facebook. There's a number of different ways you can do it. The cool part about it is you can have it up in the next 24 hours. You can put an ad up. Downside is if once you're not paying for the ad anymore, the ad goes down. You have to define your target audience well, and then carefully select your ad type. Create persuasive ads and track them to optimize, see which campaigns are doing well. So that's where you want to run multiple campaigns and find out, hey, this one, you spent $30 and you made $10. You don't want to do that one anymore, or you want to tweak it a little bit. You want to do multiple campaigns to see which one is moving the needle. Obviously, stop ads that aren't making a good return. Leverage your competitors' keywords where you can put an ad up. You have a certain keyword that your competitors, number one, you can put an ad right above them. Just know that they're going to see that and they're probably going to click on it, but it's not a bad strategy. You can do AdWords or Google Ads. Ad Espresso, and then also WordStream are some good tools that you can use there. You'll see here, this is actually for car repair, but you'll see the AAA actually puts an ad on Google to attract new customers for their roadside service. So if you're looking for car repair, AAA put an ad up there and said, hey, if you're having problems with your car, guess what? If you would have had AAA through Texas, or Texas AAA, then you would have been able to let us tow your car over to wherever you need a car repair. So it's just a creative way to once again, try to pull in new customers. So reputation management. So this is responding to customers' reviews, right? This is where somebody writes something good or bad, and you want to make sure you respond to it. You want to encourage customers to write reviews, right? And it's important if you got somebody that really loves your product or service, it's important to be able to ask them to write reviews. If somebody loves your restaurant and says, God, great pizza, I should be asking them right then to write a review. It's going to be important to do that, and encourage your customers to find out their problems. Showcase your products on the pages. Mention the best reviews on your homepage, right? Say, hey, this is Shane. He's a pizza review guy, and he loved our products here in Austin. Some of the things you can look at that you can monitor this is Brand24, and then also mention.com is where you can go and put in your name and your business name or your personal name, and you'll get a notification on if anybody's talking good or bad about your business or service. This is just reviews. So great. This is reviews when we talk about if you have selling services or selling products online. Reviews is a really good way. People look at those and say, oh, I wanted to buy these jeans, but I'm not really sure. Wait, 179 people have written at least 4.5 out of 5 stars. Great. You want to make sure you include that. So now we're going to talk about, we're at the end of this thing where we've got pitfalls and how to avoid them. So pitfalls of writing content, make sure you're writing really valuable content. We call it spun content. That's really short articles that aren't that good. There's software you can spin them. Don't do that. You want to make sure you come up with unique and relevant content. Don't put up poorly designed landing pages. You want to make sure that your landing page has a real prominent, what we call CTA, call to action, something that looks really aesthetically pleasing. Ask people that you know and say, hey, what do you think of the landing page? Ask family, friends. There's sites you can have people test it, but the goal is obviously is to put out quality content, no matter if it's a landing page or content or a blog post. Don't send out only promotional emails. We talked about this. Send informational, transactional, and promotional emails. Also, be careful of partnering with fake influencers. You can use Hype Auditor goes in and will say whether people are adding fake followers to their thing. That's a whole nother conversation, but make sure you vet them before partnering with them. Don't write clickbait articles. So those are articles where somebody will say, what are the 3 things that Elon Musk did to become a billionaire? And you read it and it says he focused, he spent his time, and he took the weekends off. And it's like, that doesn't tell you how he was a billionaire. So you want to write content that has titles that's true to the content. And then inconsistent posting on social media. We talked about this. Be consistent. Create a social media calendar. And once again, if it's just once a week, that's fine. But you want to be consistent in that. If you're writing articles that have keywords in them, don't what we call keyword stuff. Don't write the keyword 50 times in the article. It doesn't read well. It's not good for the user experience. And then designing your website only for desktop. You want to make sure that you're designing your website for mobile as well. Make sure that it's what we call responsive design. So it responds to any type of thing you're using, whether it's an iPhone, Android, it's an iPad, it's a desktop or whatever. So, all right. So the future of business with online marketing, you want to do a nice mix of brick and mortar and online stores. If your brick and mortar shut down, then we have to do online stores. Digital presence may increase the amount of people that come to your brick and mortar. It's ways that if you have a restaurant and it's open and people don't know if you're open, social media can tell people, hey, we're open from 4 to 9 today. We're doing all the protocols when it comes to COVID. It increases the number of business inquiries in scope, right? If you have an online presence. Also, a multi-channel business is more sustainable during these types of situations. If you have no social media right now, you're probably feeling it because nobody knows whether you're open. They don't know what's going on. Social media is a great way, and content is a great way to stay in contact with your audience and the potential to expand your business beyond local boundaries as well. So another thing, the key takeaways, we're at the end of this, folks. The Google Analytics and Google Consult, free. Make sure you connect those to your websites. The importance of ROI and how to calculate it. The method to create an online marketing strategy. The detailed strategies for marketing and helpful tools. Major pitfalls of your online marketing and the future of business online. All right, so I'm going to go over this real quick. I'm sure we probably have a few questions. Here is if you guys are need any kind of consulting, I know this is a lot of information. Francesca and her team are obviously are going to be sending this out, so everybody will have access to this. But if you need to get in contact with me directly, you can use advisor@shanebarker.com, or once again, SBDC has resources as well. You can click on this, or this is their direct email. And here we are. We're at the last of the 4-part series.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shane. We've got a couple of questions from Chris. The first one is, she's wondering if you were related to Mike Barker in San Antonio who created Heroes Sports.
No, but if it's a big company and it's worth a lot of money, and if he ever passes away, then I would love to take on his business. Just kidding. No, I don't wish that upon anybody. No, I don't think I'm related. The funny part was, I always tell people I actually was related to Bob Barker, or am related to Bob Barker, but he's like a few family members over. He's never reached out to me, but no, I don't know him. I wish I did. He sounds like a cool guy.
Awesome. Okay, next one from Chris. Would you suggest your company if we have a basic website and nothing too robust? I use GoDaddy to host my site, but I'm starting from scratch to save money on someone building my site. I know SEO audit is key to see how it is performing.
Yeah, what I would do is use my advisor at Shane Barker, send me the URL, and I'll take a look at it for you and advise you on how to do that. Because obviously these days we're always looking to save some money. GoDaddy is not bad for hosting. I mean, for hosting a website is fine. There's also other websites that you can go to that are inexpensive each month. They're not going to be phenomenal for SEO, but it can get a better looking website up for you. So send me your URL. I'll take a look at it and I'll give you some suggestions.
Okay, another one from Chris. Do you have a template for questions to engage influencers to give value to them and receive value in the same breath? Examples of value you offer and examples of what values to ask the influencer to provide your business.
Chris, you're my new best friend, buddy. I love this. I love this. So this is the thing, is you can actually go to my website, which is shanebarker.com. You can put in how to connect with influencers, how to negotiate with influencers. I have a lot of the templates there on my website because I've obviously written the curriculum at UCLA for how to work with influencers on both sides of it, as a brand and as an influencer working with brands. So go to my website, and there's going to be it's a magnifying glass. You can click in there, influencer marketing. You'll see tons of articles there that will go into a deeper dive into exactly what you're looking for there.
Okay, and I apologize, Chris. I apologize. The last one that he's got says, Shane, I feel you're speaking directly to me because I'm in Austin, Texas. So that's a thumbs up on that. And then Alex is asking, do you suggest landing pages to be built on your website, or where would you host landing pages elsewhere?
So yeah, so they don't necessarily have to be on your website. I mean, they can be, but the thing is you can use like Unbounce. There's a lot of other tools out there that you can create those landing pages. If you have them on your website, that's fine. If they're not, that's fine. You just want to make sure that if somebody's coming from a pay-per-click ad and they click on it and it doesn't look like your website, it says 123758.com, that can scare some people. So you want to make sure that that's somewhat customized so they understand that what they clicked on and where they ended up is that there's not a disconnect there. So sometimes I would recommend that you keep it on the website because people know that they're thinking about this product or service or the name of your company and they click over to a website and they see it there and it makes them feel more comfortable. So it's really up to you. Just make sure there's not a total disconnect there.
Okay, perfect. Do we have any other questions? We are actually coming to a close. I do want to bring to everybody's attention in the chat box, I've included the link for our survey. If you could take a minute or two to complete that, we greatly appreciate that. And then we also have some upcoming events as well. The next one that we are going to start as far as a four-part series is going to be the DIY PR project. So if you're looking to observe media trends, that's a good one for you. The next one we just completed today. It's going to be COVID impact on commercial real estate and small businesses. That one's going to start in October, but again, visit the link that I provided so that you can register for those. And Shane, I want to thank you so much for providing this resourceful workshop for our small business clients in the area. It has been very informative and we greatly appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having it, for you guys actually, giving back to the community and doing this and making this a resource. So thank you, Francisca, and everybody over there at the SBD. So you guys are awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I will be sending everybody a follow-up email with Shane's PowerPoint. If you have any questions, I'm going to include his contact information in there. You're more than welcome to reach out to him. And everybody have a great weekend and a wonderful, is it Memorial? Labor Day.
Labor Day.
Labor Day. Have a great Labor Day. Thank you all.